Without objection.
Madam President, thank you. Today, I join many who mourn the passing, and I honor the life of a Kansan I had the privilege of knowing and working with, Nestor R. Weigand Jr. Mr. Weigand was a blessing to all who knew him, and he improved the lives of many around him each and every day of his life. He was raised in Wichita. Nestor's family later moved to Minnesota, where he attended St. Thomas Academy School and later graduated with a degree in finance from the University of Notre Dame in 1960. Nestor then went on to serve his country in the United States Army Reserve. Following his time in the Reserve, Nestor devoted much of his adult life to the real estate business. It was a tremendous passion of his. It wasn't just a job, it was something he enjoyed and loved doing, something he found satisfaction in putting a buyer and a seller together, in making a project work. He originally joined the family real estate business in Kansas in 1961. His hard work led him to become the president and CEO of J.P. Weigand & Sons in 1983. Through this role, he succeeded in building one of Kansas's most respected businesses. Continuing his passion for real estate, Nestor was elected to be the president of the Kansas Association of Realtors in 1978 and eventually became the president of the National Association of Realtors 10 years later. Nestor worked tirelessly in his role to improve the lives of Kansans and Americans by fighting for fair housing laws throughout the country. Weigand real estate agent Alyssa Unruh said, and I quote her, "One of the most impressive of his personal attributes was that Nestor would call every employee an agent on their birthday like clockwork. He never missed my birthday in 20 years. Nestor cared about details, and he cared about people." In 1990, with no political prior experience, Nestor made the decision to run for governor of the state of Kansas. And while he ended up on a very small margin on the short end, his expertise and knowledge was something I truly admired and have learned from during my time in public service. His race for governor gave him an appreciation by many Kansans who might not otherwise have met him. Before running for public office, one of the first people I sought out was Nestor Weigand for some advice. I enjoyed conversations with Nestor over breakfast and lunch and greatly benefited from those conversations and his wisdom. Often in Washington, D.C., here in the nation's capital, or in my travels across the country and certainly across Kansas, when I tell somebody outside the state of Kansas that I'm from Kansas, they'd say, "Well, do you know Nestor Weigand?" He had many, many friends in many places. He was a giant in the real estate industry and made a huge difference in people's lives. Not only was he an expert in real estate, he was also a leader of the Wichita community and understood the people of the state of Kansas. Nestor was a booster for Wichita, for Sedgwick County, and for our state. Nestor took his commitment to his community seriously. He sat on so many boards, including being the board member and chairman of Wesley Hospital for over 40 years. Nestor's life truly reflected the love for business, for real estate, his passion for public service, and his dedication to people. He knew lots of people, but he knew them well, and they knew him and they respected him. You meet Nestor Weigand, and you decided this was the real deal, a person who cared about you and had wanted to see good things happen in your life. His legacy will not be forgotten, and he is already dearly missed. Robert joins me in our prayers for his children, his grandchildren, and the entire Weigand family. Madam President, I yield the floor and note the absence.